Okay, so here I'm going to review some Prism gameplay, and some of these videos might be a bit older, but we're going to see what we can do with like the play pattern hasn't really changed that much for a hybrid Teklovossen or boost into Prism. So we're just gonna get started with one. We're starting pistol because we want to, in the chance that we do get to use the cogworks legs for an action point or just maybe preload the pistol, it can be game winning if we're able to just clear out an aura on our opponent's turn and then still like clear an aura on our turn just using the pistol that's been preloaded after having been forced to like block with all 4 cards in our hand in case we didn't have a popper or we want to like equip something as well. So like otherwise with my missed sideboard, like I'm using the head because we didn't actually have recall yet, but its main purpose in this matchup was to be able to recur tanks that I boosted away, since having more ways to just attack for 9 overpower will clear Prism's field enough and usually be like its own win con. Okay, so starting with this, they're just coming in for 6. In the matchup, you usually don't play around the fact that they do have buffs, because if you're doing that every single turn, you're just going to like be wasting your own value. So we're going to probably just block 6 or pop it. I think it would have been a fine decision also to block with 1 Steel Soul Memory and the Zipper hit, but popping it does force them to spend 1 for Footsteps and not send anything else that turn. Okay, here, yeah, I'm going to pitch 2 blues, first load the pistol, then equip the memory. And I should be keeping the Demo Protocol in hand and not arsenaling it, since it's one of the guaranteed poppers in the deck, even if they have a Triumph. Okay, so I guess I did decide to arsenal it, but sometimes it is not a bad decision to just keep it out of Arsenal. In Arsenal, the best thing it is blocking another breakpoint. So if they pitch the Figment of Triumph here, meaning that they can't do the Herald of Illumination, pitch a yellow, put something in soul, and like Figment of Triumph play. So that was a very safe block with a popper. And here, yeah, I think I'm just gonna play it. I might boost T-Bone into pitching Steel Soul Memory that's what I think I'm deciding right here, because I want to get rid of the Passing Mirage, but also I could just get a better thing into my arsenal. So, okay, by boosting the T-Bone into passing, I have the option to Cogwix Legs now, pitching Fabricate, and then still send out the Demo Protocol in their face, which is not a bad play, but probably not what I want. Okay, I'm just recycling my hand, and I'm leaving the 1 resource open, because if they do play out like a Genesis at the end of my turn, I could still pop the Cogworks Leg in that case, which I think was a better play. This, I'm going to probably just pop this and pass. And I think the better play that I should be doing on my turn is boosting Throttle into Pistol. Yeah. So it's not what I want to be seeing, that they're actually playing that, so this is still going into the soul. Yep, with Erudition now, they can flip Erudition, but they can't actually play out the Erudition. Meaning that I'm still safe to boost Throttle into their face, force them to potentially block with the card or just take damage. Which I think would have been a better play if I did that, since I don't have any Evos and Banish that I want to be playing. And you only get your action point like availability from the Cogworks when you use your boost. Okay. Yeah, I just get one card out of hand because I don't need them. The fact that they're just wasting their turn is kind of nice for me, honestly. Because now I can boost into, boost into Merciful, get the action point from the legs, and then send Throttle at their face, and then use the resource to pistol into the passing. Depending on if I want to pitch the War Machine. I could also just equip the tower too. But okay. Next turn, I think another consideration for that turn would have been if I just wanted to, instead of equipping it, send another boost and then clear out the passing Mirage. Because having a popper in hand does nothing for me if it doesn't actually do like pop. But it's still not a bad decision to just armor up in this either, because maybe I can try to, or what I'm probably thinking is I can block out the first and I'll still be able to pop the second one if I need to. And yeah, like that decision turn 0 to Arsenal the Demo Protocol I think is wrong, because it's just been clogging up my arsenal for the first 5 turns of the game now. Like here, I think that the better play is probably block with 1 card from hand plus the Nevo that's equipped. And then on my turn, or maybe even just block with 2 cards from hand into popping the second one. Okay, so I don't want to pop this though either, because they have 2 floating and 1 card in hand, meaning that they could get their action point and then flip Figment and then attack with it if the last card in their hand is a blue. But yeah, it was a triumph, so I'm glad that does work out. So in the Prism matchup, it's not often that bad to kind of like intellect penalty yourself when you're trying to play slowly, because like if I'm keeping a popper in hand, I've only got like 18 poppers in my deck, which is still a lot, but they always have a chance that you can just draw a hand without a popper, and sending like Herald of Judgment would dominate with the Goliath Gauntlet. Okay, so here there's nothing to worry about just popping the Herald, since like they've already blocked with those 2. Or sorry, not blocked. They've already used all the resources, so they're not going to get the action point back. That's something that I'm looking out for a lot of the times. So here, I finally get to clear my arsenal, but I think there's another argument that maybe I should have also pitched the protocol to pistol first, because I don't really need or want it in arsenal. It's not a priority arsenal target, at least, since usually when you want to set up an arsenal, it's to set up a larger turn or to have some sort of defensive value if it doesn't have any aggressive value. Like this hand right here is okay, because like finally I can like scrap trader, but at the same time, if I pitched that protocol last turn to pistol, I'd have a loaded pistol for if they just play an ALS this turn and pass, and at the same time I would be able to just like block with my entire hand, get 2 Evos in my discard, and then like put the scrap trader in arsenal, which might actually be a better turn cycle. Okay. Yep, they pitched a Figment of Judgment and that ravages. Okay, so finally attacking with Erudition, so they finally flipped. Yeah, I just want to block with that one first, just so that I have it in my graveyard for Scrap Trader. That's really the only goal there. Because the angels, you don't usually care about blocking them that much besides the fact that they're just generic damage. Since they don't have on hits, but every other card in the deck is an on hit. So you need to be like really careful with how you use your blocking resources in the matchup. Like here, I'm not even sure if I should have blocked with that, but I am just trying to keep a blue and Scrap Trader to equip the chest in case they pass, which they did pass. Or I don't think that they meant to pass there. I think it is going to be followed up by another Herald, and maybe the Junk Dog would have actually helped as a popper. Oh. So you see, like, if I pitched the protocol to pistol to be able to just pop this on my turn, and then Arsenal something else, that would have been the better play. I think I just play protocol Arsenal Scrap Trader. Yeah, Scrap Trader is a much better Arsenal target anyways. And I really just have to survive like a few more turns of them with Erudition, hopefully. But they don't have that much soul, so it's not that much of a threat. And when I want to use Scrap Trader, this is a super awkward hand to draw. If I keep 0 to 60 and 2 cards, I can actually make use of this hand by boosting 0 to 60, pitching one of the reds to Cogwick's base chest, and then using the third one for the third resource. Then I can use Scrap Trader to draw a card. Yeah, that's what with the mouse, that's what I'm thinking of doing right now. So I'm thinking, okay, I can block with one card from my hand this turn. I'm keeping the tanks in my deck because they're high priority. And I'm going to potentially... I don't think I should have blocked that Zerai actually. They still potentially have 2 more Heralds, so it would have been better value to use one of them as a popper. And then just take the 4 damage since the health difference isn't that big right now. And yeah, like this is where that actually is relevant. So like now I do need to block with 1 tank. Like they can't do that much with a bigger hand size, but still, if I took the 4 damage and then popped the Erudition, I'd still be able to use Scrap Trade on my turn depending on what they did. Yeah, so on my end, that is definitely a misplay. So like a lot of these games I don't actually mind. Every single time that they swing with an angel, I just either take the 4 damage, or if I think I'm going to be able to refresh an Evo, I block with that. Or with non-poppers from hands. Since now, yeah, I'm clearing out the angel directly in case, and I'm doing this as my first action in case they have an ALS that they want to play. And then I'm likely to load the pistol, and then send the pistol at their face as well. This will at least force a 1-card block. And since they play an ALS, I'm just going to clear that after this. So now, on their side, they had a very blue heavy hand. Well, they still could have like played out the Herald of Protections, but they managed, or wanted not to, I guess. Here, I think I just should take the 4. So I think a playline for that turn that I would have liked better would have been taking the 4 and then zipper hit into 0 to 60. Yeah, this works too. But zipper hit into 0 to 60 into pitch Demo Protocol to load the pistol, or just keep Demo Protocol in hand as a popper, and then play out the Scrap Trader using Steel Street Enforcement, or to has the blue to pitch for it. I equipped the arms there since I haven't actually used the card workspace chest ability yet, and it's one of the more important ones in the matchup anyways. And with Singularity coming up here, I think I'm just thinking they have very little soul, so maybe if I can just play it out sooner, that'll be nice. So I'm going to instant speed equip the chest, and then I'm going to see if I can like try to rotate Singularity into Arsenal and just deny them having a, yeah, so should we block two, yeah, head and junk dog? Yeah, any turn or two I'm going to try getting Singularity into Arsenal, or I should be trying to, and just not letting them get any more soul. 6, okay. It's a very clean block with equipment. Yeah, I'm just a bit, I think I'm just gonna pass because passing without shooting the gun just lets you like guarantee that you can do something if they just try to like play out a Genesis on your turn and pass. So I'm gonna pop. So if they have a blue in hand, they can still continue their turn, but I'm kind of just forcing them to have a blue, or have a Herald in Arsenal. Without that, they don't have the resources to actually play a second Herald. So I almost just played Singularity with a bricked Arsenal, which I think would have been okay, but it would have been really awkward in several turns. So there's no rush here. My opponent has 1 soul, so my mindset is, okay, we're just going to kind of set up a better hand to play Singularity and just try to get chisel down their life total a bit more now. So this into Junk Dog, coming in for 7. Yeah. Now I'm just like threatening their face and they're just taking the damage. Like if I can actually get them down to like 15 life and then play Singularity, they won't have any chance to recover, which they seem to be letting happen at this point. Okay, so they're playing out the blue Herald from hand. I think I should have popped this one instead of actually blocking with Evos. Oh, the Merciful Attribution, I think. Which is perfect because then I can block this and throttle. Yeah, so the Merciful actually letting the Evos that I pop, or the stuff that I pop go to the soul is also something to play around if they actually play it out. So with that in mind, I'm going to just threaten as much damage as possible. And they haven't played a ALS in response to this, so I'm very happy just doing this. At this point, I might not even need Singularity to actually close out the game, but there's a good chance that I'm going to use it anyways. Yep, okay, they don't have a turn at this point since they had to use Soul Shield, so Terminator Tank still kind of filled the same purpose of making them block with enough cards where they can't do anything. Though Tome of Divinity is a very good counter to that in the matchup. It's basically like in the Lexi era, the Prism's version of 3 of a kind right now. At least in this matchup. Okay. So I think this hand seems like a good Singularity hand, if there were ever any. Because even with their Genesis on field, with Singularity out, getting back more tanks as well, I should just be able to win with the overpower damage. I've seen several Soul Shields at this point, and at least half the Angels are dead. So I'm contemplating if I'm greedier or if I actually just try to be more cautious, because other playlines I do have, okay, I do decide to be more cautious. I think it would have been fine to actually singularity there though. Because what I could have done is keeping Fabricate in hand attack. Okay. At this point, I think I'm just being more cautious than I need to be with my opponent this much life. But also keeping a blue in hand is not the worst thing here. Okay. So Fabricate in hand is gonna help, as it'll just give me that one last I can block everything before playing out Singularity. And then I think I've made a mistake if I don't play Singularity with my opponent at 7 life next turn. Okay. Yep. Only 3 tanks that I can target. But so most times that you flip into Singularity, you are almost guaranteed to deal like 6 damage. But you're always threatening 12. Because you can attack the first time, they have to discard, and now they have 3 cards in hand left to block, so they can then, to get the most block value out without using equipment, they can use 2 cards from hand to block, and then the second time you attack, you make them discard the last card. So, except into Prism though, where they can use that last card to essentially like flip another angel and then block another like extra damage. Okay. So I don't think that was a good decision on their part to play out the ALS, since I'm still going to be popping one of their heralds and 3 spectral shields, and then the second swing, like, I don't have an option but to use it and actually kill the ALS. But the board state just is getting just very not good at the moment. Okay. And now this should be enough to close it out. We just saw them pitch a Rebirth, so, and they're kind of in a state where they have to block everything. So this into Junk Dog for 5 into Teklovossen should deal lethal. They don't have any other angels that they can flip for extra wood for as well. Well, true, they can block with Vestige right now. So they shouldn't die this turn, but they will afterwards. Because now I'm gonna have my second tank turn, so they'll need a Soul Shield or some other way to block Overpower. Okay, so talking through the first game, I think we'll go through the second one now, see how long this takes. Yeah, this is also pre-missed, but still with the same mentality of gameplay. Yeah, so I think here I'm just going to put a Evo in Arsenal and yeah, equip 1. So here I'm probably going to, if I can, block with the tower first. Yep, okay, Triumph. That, if I don't want it to hit, it will demand a 3-card block. But I'm not sure if that's something I'm worried about right now. Blocking with 3 cards though should be fine, since I can still at least prevent them from getting something in soul this early in the game. Yeah. You're always trying to, like, into Prism, manage how many cards in soul they can get and how soon. Yeah, so since they didn't follow it up, I was actually able to keep the second card and equip the chest. If they followed up the Herald of Triumph with a second Angel, though, I would have been forced to either pop it or 2-card block it again. So I'm going to more aggressively block with my Evos to at least to start, since I have 3 scrap traders in the deck, or 2 at this point in the time, and I'm always playing towards the fact that when you draw them, you want to have fodder to actually use for the scrap traders. Okay, so they're giving it. They took away Phantasm, though they can see that I have enough Evo equipment to actually block it out. So just in case, I'm equipping something more. And okay. Yeah, they created Errata. So if I wanted to be safer, I would have blocked with arms plus steel street reinforcement from hand, because that would have actually covered a blue angelic wrath. But then it's also the point of I can't play around every react the entire game, but it would have been smart to play around it in that situation. At least with new Luminars, only the first angel has go again. So they could flip Figment of Erudition right here, and then they could use their only card in soul to give it. Oh, true, they require 1 card in soul to actually flip, so this is just a vanilla 4 damage, no draw card, nothing else. So it's better that I take this and then I block out their second card, since Steel Reinforcement plus my chest will block out any angel, since the max power angel that they're, or herald that they have, is 7 power. Yeah, and seeing all the tomes just used like this, like in a row, is something that I like seeing, because I don't want to have to deal with them later on. Which, I mean, that's fine that they had these, like, able to draw a second blue angelic wrath. Means that I don't have to play around it that much anymore. I wasn't going to play around it too much to begin with, but now that I know that they're missing 2 of them from the deck. Yeah, so it's just vanilla damage, so I'll take the 4. And Triumph to start. Okay. Yeah, 2 blocks and equips and that. I just want to perfectly block stuff while I can. ALS is fine. So I can actually boost with throttle and then use the legs, which, yeah, that's what I want to do here. Make sure it's pretty clear that I have the second action point. And then we're going to use the pistol to probably clear Passing Mirage. Yep. So popping War Tune Herald never feels that good, since they always pitch a yellow for it, so they always have the resource for the second thing. But I do have the second popper here, in case. Though I'm not necessarily rewarded in the case here, because they just play out a Merciful. So what I think I'm going to do is pitch my head to the pistol on my turn, and send it at Merciful, and then just keep my hand. Okay, or I'm over pitching the firewall too. Okay, and okay, over pitching firewall and putting the head in arsenal is an interesting choice. I think it would have been better to pitch the head for second cycle and do it the other way around. But with 3 Evos equipped, if I can just get the legs out now, I should be decently set. So something that I think I'm considering right now. Oh, okay. So, okay, yeah, he does have Gogan already, so that's fine. It's actually better since... Okay. Yep. Now I can send this erudition because I want to keep the board clean. So a 0 for 4 go again is very good at doing that job at least. And then 0 to 60 into using Scrap Trader is probably the best play I can do here. I don't have a second target. So like, yeah, I load my gun and then I Scrap Trader. So something that I could have done there is pitch to Teklo and then, or use the resources on Teklo, play the Circuit Breaker from Arsenal, and then if I draw blue, I'd still have one resource floating, and I'd still be able to play the tower from Banish. I don't think that I saw that option or play at the moment. And then drawing 5 more cards would have basically given me another safety net for another turn. And I'm not that worried about having the 5 card hand into flipping into Prism. So I think if I redid this game, I would have done that. But I was being more cautious. And yeah, seeing this hand, I would have drawn the processor, and I would have been able to do that actually. So here I have a guaranteed popper. I can 0 to 60 into equip legs. You can just pitch 2 cards to equip legs after blocking with 2 cards. Yeah, Herald of Protection. Okay. So yeah, I'm pitching this so that I can block with the newly equipped legs and the drawn card. Wait, and then I'm gonna undo this because I just realized that he had to figure a triumph out. Yeah, so I blocked with the pulse wave and the legs. And then I just, let's see. Yeah, and then they just passed after that. They didn't do anything else. So my turn, I'm just killing Genesis. Okay, yeah. I think I'm thinking that I want to starve their soul more. So with like the sandbagged protocol in hand, I think it would have been just as fine to kill passing actually. Also, since like I have so much armor block actually used up right now, that I kind of need to block new heralds with cards from hand only. Okay, after that they flip. And then they pass. Okay, so now it's back to their turn. And I have 2 Diamond Protocols, so I'm pretty safe on blocking at least. Okay. This is fine. Yeah, I know that I'm going to send the block in that. And I'm just going to kill the Rebirth, since it's the only thing that will let them like recur more ALSs, in case I have a situation where I actually boost away Singularity, which is now my only way to get action points. And then I equip. Okay, I'm equipping my breakers here, not because I think that I need it, but it's turn 8, I've not seen Singularity yet, meaning that Singularity is in like the bottom third of my deck. So I'm just trying to get that intellect to see if I can dig into it faster. And with this hand, okay, I've now gone through more than 2/3 of my deck. So I'm hoping to just draw, if I can just block out with this hand, Maybe I'll send a war machine on my turn and then pass. Okay. They send a Hilda protection. Yeah, putting under breaker in case I do boost and boost away singularity. Blocking with throttle because it doesn't have phantasm. And yeah, I didn't block with all my evos because I do have the second fabricate. And I'm sending this face because I want to threaten popping his angel that he has. And he has five spectral shields. So I want to get through this like mirage of spectral shields at some point, because otherwise I'm gonna flip to singularity and nothing's gonna happen pretty much. Okay, so keeping the fabricating arsenal will at least like save me another turn if I do draw singularity. Still not yet, but I can banish draw with fabricate. Banish draw +1, yep. Banishing arms, because it's the only one with +3 counters in my hand at the moment. And I'm just gonna, no phantasm, so I'm just gonna block it like that. And now with this hand, I can instant speed equip the arms from banish, use the 2 floating resources to then shoot the Genesis, or the passing mirage. Which I think I'm also debating which one my opponent's gotten more use out of. So they could play an ALSC if they had one, which they didn't yet, so I think I'm just almost rewarded there. So I'm just gonna arsenal the throttle and then send this. I should be sending it at passing. Or Genesis. Yeah. I said just because of how many turns I've drawn poppers at this point and they haven't been able to pop. Not even because of Triumph. So now this is an awkward hand to draw singularity into, since this is still first cycle. So it's not like I could have prevented this. But I am still drawing singularity before I have used everything. So I can pop, well, I can't pop this, so I can block this with that and a junk dog. Pop the second one. And then one playline that I have is boosting throttle using face breaker to shuffle that one war machine in my banish back into my deck. Cause like, I'm also just admitting I think that this is going to hit. So I decided not to block it so that I can do that playline. Yeah, I'm just looking at that Genesis, deciding if I want to kill it or not. They don't have Rebirth, they don't have Erudition. The Angel threats in their deck aren't that bad right now. Ravages is bad, considering I don't have any Arcane Barrier. But it could be worse. Okay. I think I like the playline if I chose to use Face Breaker in that case to shuffle the War Machine back in my deck and then I boosted. But I still do like the fact that I pitched everything. So now here, I think it's better if... Okay, I see the last Angelic Wrath in there. Banish, or pitch attack. Okay, so now I think I'm just going to flip and see what they can respond with. See, I'm double checking they have one. I've only played one ALS this game, which I think is fine. It's gonna get annoying if they play after I flip, but they can't recur, so it's not that bad. And here I think, yeah, Protocol and a War Machine. Those are my best picks. So hoping that I chose the order correct, I want War Machine to be my next hand, and Protocol to be after that. So I should be able to clear the board now. And at the very least, this is going to give me an opportunity to time walk my opponent. Okay, yeah, the Soul Shield's fine. And now the second one, it is called a Herald Triumph. And yeah, both the angels and the wards die. Okay. Yeah, I think that this now I'm second cycle because I remember pitching the 0 to 60 in the War Machine earlier. So Terminator Tank into 0 to 60, arsenaling the War Machine is not a bad play. Someday for like scuffed pitch stacks, I hope that Mechanologist gets a blue 6 power attack so that you can choose Terminator Tank and a blue to just be put next to each other. But we're sadly not at that point yet. Yeah, this is just threatening for damage, but it's fine. Yeah, this is just coming for 6, so I can just block with my hero. It's covering it up perfectly. I think that there's an argument there if I just block with Pulse Rate Protocol instead, actually. Or sorry, attack with Pulse Rate Protocol. No, never mind, I couldn't have. Well, there is an argument if I just swung with Teklovossen. But again, I'm just trying to set up a good 2-card hand and get the most use out of my Macropotent swings. And I keep drawing very scuffed hands for this. So here I think I'm just going to throttle and Macropotent block, and then send Terminator Tank. So Macro blocks 5, that blocks 3. They don't have an arsenal, so War Machine doesn't do anything here. They only have 3 soul and they have 13 cards in deck. So at this point, they can choose to keep blocking this stuff, but they are going to deck out if I'm sending 1 card per turn at my, and they're blocking with 3 cards per turn. It's 13 cards, it means that they only have 4 turns to actually send a full hand if they're blocking with the entire thing. And they're also just sending Celestial Cataclysm after Cataclysm now, which is using up their entire soul, so they're not even threatening being able to flip or use angels. Like, they could, with their 3 soul, they could have flipped and used Ravages before. Yeah, I'm just gonna pop this. But then I would have been able to also pop the Ravages if they did flip it like 1 or 2 turns earlier. But it might have been a better play with my AV0 and the fact that I had 7 life. Yeah, they've got about 4 turns left. This is coming for 6, so my Macropotent blocks 3, so that plus a 3 block in hand. Because I don't want to waste the Steel Street Enforcement right now. So I might as well just keep the Enforcement in hand deck, which is yeah, so now I'm going to basically threaten almost lethal. And I think now next turn I should be just threatening lethal. Not quite, but it's it's lethal. But I think that they're just unlucky here that I don't have to waste a Macropotent swing to clear the ALS. because I value that 5 soul more than I do the zipper hit right now. So with them having 4 cards in deck, I think that I choose to Necropotent instead of sending another attack first, even though both of them technically threaten lethal. Just because this also forces them to actually block with a card from hand, versus just sending a Throttle first would force them to maybe use Vestige of Soul and then go down to 1. And now I'm threatening lethal 4 chain links in a row, so this should be the turn that I win. Because they need to block this with 1 card, they need to block the 0 to 60 with 1 card, and then they'll be at 2 life assuming that they took 1 damage from each, and then Necropotent will make them discard a card. So first they need to not have 2 blocks in hand. They can't have 2 blocks, they can't have no blocks. They need a hand of 3 blocks and then 1 card that they can discard. Yep, 3 block, they discarded 2 block, but then they had the no block. So if instead that, they still would have lost if they discarded the no block and then blocked with a 2 block, but they had nothing in deck left anymore. Okay, and just to quickly go through one last game. This one is actually played with Mist meta, so the only change is the sideboard here really is I added Evo Recall, and I added one of the Evo Short Circuit. Short Circuit's nice because you can, if they don't have Spectral Shields, you can threaten just popping one of their heralds, or not heralds, the angels. And Recall makes it so that I'm not actually afraid of boosting. Some of the previous games, I would sometimes be more hesitant on boosting in situations where it might mean that I'm going to hit Singularity, or I think that I need Singularity to actually swing the game in my favor. So here I'm doing it this way to equip these arms because I want my action point still. That way they can't Genesis on my turn and then pass. If they Genesis, I pop it with the pistol. So seeing Singularity this early is interesting. I don't want to see it this early, but it's fine. Gives me even more like reason to just consistently boost all game. So block with that and a Evo. I've got 3 Scrap Traders in deck that I want to play towards again. And my turn, I think I'm going to pitch the Memory and the Singularity to play the legs from my arsenal. And if they play a second Herald, okay, anything but the Herald of Triumph, I would have just used the Terminator tank to pop it. But since they're playing Triumph, I think I'm just going to Terminator tank and Steel Storm and reblock it. I have 2 Evos that I don't have equipped, and both of them are being ready for when I do draw Scrap Trader. And my turn could just be pitch Singularity to pistol pass. I still have my action point, they can't play Genesis on my turn. And yeah. Okay, this is it. And now that I know Singularity is the 51st card of my deck, I can just count to 54 and boost every turn if I want. Or count to 51 and boost every turn. Yeah, that's fine. Like, let's see what they get. Okay, Figment of War and the Courage token. So since they chose to do that, I'm just going to boost. And I think I'm going to pitch War Machine as Zipper Hit. they're taking the damage, which I'm fine with right now. And I can just pass with the action point. Yep. And now I've got 2 poppers in hand, another thing I want in arsenal, and no blues yet. Drawing 2 hands without blues is very unlikely, but it happens sometimes. So Triumph. Okay, so this we just need to block 6. Yeah, so my arms blocks 2 and firewall blocks 2, so I'm gonna block 6 this way. Oh wait, with the courage tokens giving me +1. So firewall plus that. It's even better. And then if they send a second thing for 5 or something that I can pop, I'll use the protocol. Yes, second triumph, so it works out fine. But I think that I actually forgot to take the courage token at first, otherwise I should have actually waited to play the fabricate, since I didn't even use it to block the first one. Okay, so now here, if I can just keep my hand, I can 060 boost, pitch liquid cold, play processor. Or if I can block with processor, still to do the same thing using the cogwork space chest and play the legs from arsenal. And with my mouse movements, it seems like that's what I'm thinking right now. Yeah, just went over the firewall and the seals with processor. So I'm thinking of blocking with those and then doing that play. Yeah. They've started the game playing 5 of their Hilda Triumphs. Yeah, I just take 6. They don't have an action point, they can't do anything afterwards. Yep, exactly the play that I was thinking. And now that I'm drawing blues, I'm also drawing several more poppers. So if I can find a way to just end their turn early, sending turn tank for 6 isn't the worst thing, since it just means that they block. Okay, so they pretty much just did nothing this turn. Like, they played out hard cast 2 heralds because they had a bad hand, or herald and a aura. Okay, so I have 2 options here. I can play the processor that I just banished, or I can pistol into passing mirage. Processor will also just as well help me actually cover the next, like, all the big points of the next herald that they play, since the first one's not gonna have the, it's not gonna have phantasm. So we're gonna go with that play, and let's see. Okay, like on this case I have several more poppers and I can block anything I need to. If I can just keep a blue in my next hand, I think that what I want to do, assuming that they flip the erudition and swim with erudition, I'd want to send throttle boosting into pistol. Okay, they use Herald of Information. Okay, Figment of Protection so that they have shields. I think that they just did that so that they could actually get the use the tome, because you need something to go into soul for it to cost less, with vestige and everything too. Okay, so this is 4 vanilla damage, and they're sending 2 heralds after this with their, I assume, with their 6-card hand. I don't want to. So okay, they're wasting all the tomes on one turn that they can't even like go that wide on. Yeah, I'm being careful with block. I should have blocked this one, I think, since it had didn't have phantasm. I should have blocked it with a throttle, because I don't want to pop this. The fact that I am popping this is a mistake, actually. Since now they're able to get their action point back, which they did, and send 1 more attack or card. They could have punished me so much more than they did than playing Arclight Sentinel, but if they played another Herald, it would have been not good. The fact that all they did was play Arclight Sentinel in that situation is actually the best case scenario for me. Yeah, I don't want that, and I'm just gonna put the throttle on Arsenal. Since it's a red throttle, so it's pretty good at threatening popping their angels. I think it'll force them to use a 2-card block with 2 cards from hand, at least. Yeah, they played 1 Arclight, and yeah. Like, my tanks do have overpower now, so they, in order to block stuff, they need ward or they need soul shields. So I'm going to see what they do here. Yeah, they're using the last card in their soul to basically send Erudition draw to. Which I don't think is correct on their part, but now they're threatening Herald of Erudition, which if I just block with T-Bone and Chest, I think it'll be fine. Yeah. Throttle's just a higher value card or number in deck, so. And keeping 2 poppers, since I can just maybe send a popper if I need to. Okay. I'm boosting this one into the Erudition, since doing this as the first action of the turn, they won't have priority to play an ALS or anything else yet to actually protect the Erudition, which may bait them into trying to get a Figment of Rebirth and try to getting back the Erudition depending on the board state. Oh wait, no, I sent this at them to make them block with cards. Okay, the other play would have been fine too. Cause so like this will force 2-card block. They don't have any soul, so if they do send Erudition next turn, they will have to. They won't get the draw card. Okay. They block with 2 cards, a 2-block and a 3-block, and then use the Spectral Shield to cover up the rest. And now I'm just clearing the passing, clearing Passing Mirage. Or not. I think for the same argument, clearing the Passing Mirage would have been fine, but sending this at them is also still forcing them to clear with Erudition. Prism can't do much on a 2-card hand, and Erudition is their only way of kind of like compensating those 2-card hands into actually doing something. So it's almost surprising that they're even blocking the equipment here instead of just 1 more card from hand. But this probably means that they don't have a Herald in Arsenal too. And yeah, Terminator Tank and Arsenal is fine here. I'm very close to having overpower on tanks. They just pitch an Arclight Sentinel for this, it is fine. Double see if I check my Arsenal. Let's see how many Evas I have there. Okay, I just take it since it's basically vanilla. So I can pitch my entire hand to play the memory from Vanish. And then if I draw a blue, I can play out the Terminator Tank. So it's a higher risk play, but it has a higher potential for having a good reward. But I am smart here, and I decide not to do that. Yep. Okay, so talking about like what I did here. I know that I have 2 cards for Scrap Traders, so I load Pistol, I pitch the Teklo, and then I pitch the rest of them to equip from Banish. It doesn't protect me if they try to play a Spectra here, but at the very least, it does still let me get my draw card. Lets me put more cards at the bottom of my deck and like get ready for when they are going to try like popping off more, like getting more cards in Soul. Because at this point in the game, I'm doing a good job of starving what they have in Soul. And I do just want to draw out my Singularity. Yeah, it's 4 vanilla. So I block with legs because turn 10, I am again like past 2/3 of my deck. Yeah, so this, unless they have soul shields, will clear. Yep, they have soul shields, but they use 3 cards from hand. But the soul shield getting it in getting it there is actually pretty annoying. So they don't have any resources to flip another angel. So getting to pop their ward in this way with the short circuit is almost cruel. They lose their action point as well. So I basically just bought myself another turn. Here I think I'm gonna boost Clear Passing Mirage. And then if I just keep Demo Protocol in my hand, I think that's the correct play. Because they're likely not gonna block with anything here. There's no reason for them to, and them having a 5-card hand should help them get back in the game, depending on what I do. The Demo Protocol, yeah, keep it in hand because one of my only 2 that I'm playing in this version of the list. So it's one of the only 7 power poppers that I'll have access to. Okay, Herald of Protection. I just pop it since, unless they have a blue in hand, this will end their turn. Yep, they didn't even have a second Herald, it seems. So I think here with them being at 9, I'm just going to end up sending War Machine. And I actually have Arcane Barrier 1, if I wanted to actually not die to Figment of Merciful Retribution. Sending 9, they have to block with something. Yeah. Arsenal, and at this point, I can still play towards Singularity, but I can just win the game sooner. Yeah, with that hand that they had, no matter what, they had 2 cards in Soul. They could have flipped cards from Soul to help them protect them from, let's see, 2 cards in Soul and 4 angels. So they could have flipped 1 card this turn and 1 card next turn in order to have 8 ward and then a 3 block in hand. Even with that, if I would have then be able to still keep my hand and send Throttle for 4 go again into Terminator Tank, they'd just be left at 0 soul and nothing, no cards in hand still. And they would have lost 2 of their angels for almost no reason. They would have survived, let's see, because they're at 3 life, okay. That would have given them 11 more life. So threatening Terminator Tank into Throttle. Throttle would have threatened 1 angel, then they'd be 7 life left. Yeah, they would have technically survived at 1 life after that. But let's see, then after that, with my hand, my next hand was a Throttle, Zipper, Pulse Wave, and a Controller. I probably would have been able to send Throttle for a 2-card block into a Protocol, Arsenal, Zipper. Or no, that would have taken my entire hand. But even if I boosted away Singularity at that point, I would have played the Evo Recall, and it would have been able to get back Singularity for the turn after, and also still have a tank in the turn after that. So either way, at that point, if they concede or not, it should have been won. Okay, for this time, those are at least a few games reviewed, and if there are any other requests, let me know.